Hey everybody, Coax and Camstools here, back at the workbench. Not doing a build video today. I really just wanted to get out some information about this antenna that I've been playing with for probably the last year and a half or so. That is based on one of Adam K6ARK's antenna winders, and I'll put a link in the description below to Adam's printables page. If you're not checking in there and downloading stuff from that, you are missing out. But what I did was I converted one of his winders, that I will also put in the description below, into an end-fed half-wave or 9-to-1, whatever you want to do, little template there that you can just drop in to make an antenna winder ballon combo all in one without having to take stuff apart, which is really the reason that I did this. And if you've seen my activation of Monterey State Beach, or many of my 705 activations, this is actually the antenna that I use here. So I keep it here in the side pouch of my Condor 705 bag, the same bag that nearly everybody uses as a 705 bag. And this is where this antenna has lived. So anytime I take my 705 anywhere, it is sitting in there, and I just wanted to pull it out so you guys know that I actually use this stuff. I'll do a quick walk through the evolution of this antenna, how I came to my final version, by taking a quick glimpse at this one here. So you might be able to tell here in the video that I just took a drill bit and I hogged all these holes that I thought I needed for both strain relief and also giving me a spot to zip tie in these toroids here. And I'll talk about these toroids and the components that I used here later on, but really just getting down this, testing out this layout to see what I wanted to use. And little fun fact, I ended up finding this hair tie on the ground during one of my activations, and it just matched so perfectly that I had to pick it up and put it on this antenna winder. But what we can't see here under this tactical duct tape here is that I just soldered it on there. I have my magnet wire, this green magnet wire was left over, and this capacitor actually was left over from a QRP guy's end-fed half-wave kit. Well, I guess this capacitor wasn't left over, but I kind of cannibalize the one kit to get this stuff, but I use this, so it's okay. All I did was I took this magnet wire and I soldered it right onto the end of this mystery stealth wire that I bought off eBay a long time ago. But what you should be able to see here is this is just a regular end-fed half-wave, a 49-to-1. I double stacked these toroids to get me the 10 watts that I wanted for my 705. It's very possible that just one of these toroids could have worked for 10 watts. I don't know. I've never tested it, but what I did test was a double stack, and I know that works because I've used it many times. So this antenna is actually my backup antenna. If you've ever seen me in, and I'll try to roll some I'll try to cut in some B-roll here of some of my activations, but if you've ever seen me with my Eberle stock, Burles, however you say that backpack company, Bandit, this has been sitting in the top. It has one of those old cell phone pouches in the top that is too small for any modern day cell phone, so I put this in there and I forget about it because this thing weighs next to nothing. I forgot to weigh it, but I'll put in something down here about how much this antenna weighs with the wire and everything. And this sits in there and I have not moved it. I've traveled all over here, done many hikes, many podas, and this antenna has sat in there for every single activation, every single soda, every single hike, to include just hikes with me and my wife around here, and I have had zero issues with this antenna. So I am a little bit worried here about this joint here for both this version and also my later ones that use a little bit of a thinner wire. That, I think, is where this antenna is going to break, if it breaks anywhere, but it hasn't done it yet. But I'm not selling these, so I'm not really concerned about that. If you come up with a better option, drop a comment down below. Or if you think this is a stupid design, drop a comment down below. I'll make sure you get the attention you don't get at home. So what I did have to do for a couple of these antennas, for many of them actually, is I had to strip the jacket off of some 24 gauge BNTECHGO wire. I stripped the jacket off, I pulled out the center conductor, and I used that to stop these wires from shorting. But other than that, that was really the only creativity that I had to do in here. So my earlier version, I did have to come in here and I used a pocket knife and I had to cut out a wide enough spot for this bulkhead to fit in there. But with my printed version that you can download on the description below from the link in the description below, you're not going to have to do any of that. And now when it comes to wrapping these toroids, I use two different types of wire. I use this BNTECHGO 28 gauge magnet wire, and then this unknown or unnamed brand of 28 gauge solid core jacketed wire that I acquired from work. I use both of those. Let's see if I have an example. I don't think I have an example of the white jacket laying here. Oh yes, I do. So I use the white jacket here, and then I have the BNTECHGO magnet wire there. And I will let you know that these toroids are extremely small. This is inches. These toroids are extremely small, and if you decide to use a jacketed wire, it is going to get extremely tight in there. And I'm able to fit enough to get a 49-to-1 in there with the 2 primary and 14 secondary. But if I wanted to do a different combo like 3 and 21, it would absolutely not fit with that jacketed wire, but it does fit with the magnet wire. I did use a few different types of capacitors there. I used 120, 150, and I believe this one here is 110 picofarads. I don't really know why you'd want to use one over the other, so if you know that, go ahead and drop a comment down below and teach me something. I played around with it, switched out different capacitors. Never noticed any difference playing with these antennas, so I think I just left in whatever was in there, or whatever I had tested last. So as I mentioned, this is one of your regular BNC bulkheads that just drops ever so perfect right in there, fits like a glove. Let me come over here, drop our little grounding nut on there, grounding tab, grounding flap, whatever you want to call that. Drop your bolt on here, and everything beyond that is exactly what you'd have to do for a 49-to-1, any 49-to-1. This is where I zip tie in my toroid, and then I have all these strain relief holes right there. I did have a little bit of elephant's foot going on with these, so if I chased them with a drill bit, this 24 gauge BNTECHGO would absolutely fit, but I might just have to spit on this to get that through there, but I'm not going to do that because that's kind of gross right now. So taking one final look at this for my 705, I might have already mentioned it. This isn't for my 705. This is for my 705. Taking one last look here at my 705, I have about 33 feet of wire on this spool, and then another 33 feet of wire on this spool. If you ever try to sling up a 66-foot end-fed half wave in a public setting, that 66 feet feels amazingly long. So sometimes I just run 20 and 10. Well, we can see here that I double stack these toroids, and I get 10 watts all day out of these. I keyed down for, after sending my call sign, of course, keyed down for 10 seconds on 10 watts, or not 10 seconds, for 30 seconds on 10 watts and had no issue with this. Your mileage may vary, but in my case, it worked pretty well. And I also put on one of these 2mm banana plugs. I think I assumed that I would, want to swap out this wire for something. I have literally never touched that, so that's why I didn't do it in my later version. And then another K6 ARK design is these quick link disconnects that I use when I run around 66 feet. And if you watch one of my very early videos where I activate Monterey State Beach, this is the exact antenna that I used with this slipped over here, ran up my DX commander in an inverted V, got that activation done. I believe I also used this antenna a couple times there at Fort O'Doon State Park. As I mentioned, I'll throw some B-roll in here. Hopefully have some good footage for everybody to look at. I'll put a bill of materials in the description below. I'm not going to have a lot of links for these because I think I bought these from JP Multiserve on eBay. I don't even know if he still sells these. You might be able to find a similar product. I measured this in the video, so I'll put that in the description below, the overall dimensions. But I'll put a bill of materials down below. If you guys have any questions about this, go ahead and drop a comment, and I'll do my best to answer. If you're looking for a super slim QRP antenna, or you just want to try to build something tiny, this is definitely a pretty nice kit. Yeah, that's all I have. Thanks for watching, everybody.